my story is a little bit different. It's like still talking about love, and it's just like about how like people show love in different ways. Because I remember growing up, like I always used to think like, man, like my dad doesn't like me, or my dad feels this kind of way, or my dad feels that kind of way about me, or whatever. And like I lost my dad like 4 years ago now, so it's one of those situations where like, you know, I get to like think back on it and then just really reflect and like think about it. And I realized that like my dad showed me love in like a different kind of way, because again, he was never vocal about it. He never really like said like, oh, you know, I love you, son. I mean, he did, but like not very often or whatever. But I remember specifically when I was 12 years old, I went to Alabama, and before that I hadn't seen my dad in like 7 years or something like that. And then when I got there, we drove all the way back to Alabama, and then one morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning, he woke me up early as shit, and he's like, hey, you want to go fishing, son? And then I was like, yeah, sure. So we go fishing, and then he teaches me all this stuff about fishing, like how to tie the knot around the hook, how to take the fish off the hook, everything. And I remember just the look in his eye when I first caught a fish, it just showed like how proud he was of me. So, you know, my dad in that sense showed that, you know, he loved me, because he didn't necessarily say it, but he showed it with his pride and how he treated us and how he, you know, got everything that we always needed. So it definitely wasn't a verbal like I love you, son, but I definitely felt the love, just because, you know, before that, like I said, I hadn't seen my dad in like 7 years or whatever. And then, you know, we actually bonded for the first official time throughout that fishing trip. We like sat there and we talked and we joked, and then I caught a fish, and then he was so proud when I caught the fish. So you could definitely feel the love even though the words weren't there. So I guess, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like people show love in different ways, but, you know, you never can say that somebody didn't love you just because you don't understand how they show love. Yeah.
Okay.